one of the biggest things that we saw in 2005 to 2007 was that this bottom-up approach has merit over a top-down approach, right? Although there are aspects of the top-down approach that you still need to apply. But really, if you're talking about security and safeguarding a population and making that area an area that the enemy can't operate in, that's going to be the way that you need to go. And from 5 to 7, we learned that. But the other thing that we learned was during this time frame, the U.S., transitioned the mission to NATO. And that's when it became a full-fledged NATO operation. And a very good friend of mine, Dave Frazier, who's written a book about Afghanistan and about his time there during this time, took over. That's when they went from 06s, colonels, and in some cases Navy captains commanding the regional commands, north, south, east, and west, in Afghanistan, to general officer level headquarters. And Dave came in. He was a Canadian special ops guy who I had a relationship with, a really, really good guy. And when we got into Afghanistan, he said, "Hey, I need you to come over here. I need to talk to you about what we're going to do and how we're going to do this, because we got a problem." We came in here to do peacekeeping operations, and although it's not a popular thing to say, my assessment is that we're fighting an insurgency, and a deadly one. And he knew that was our assessment as well. Our intel guys and everybody had the same assessment going in there from 1st Battalion, 3rd Group, and our group headquarters up north. So anyways, he called me in, and we said, well, I think we can come up with an operation using the Afghan National Security Forces to come up into this district, Panjwai, and take over this stronghold of insurgents, right? And so we went back, we did some planning, we came back and briefed him, and so what Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, got the mission, and it was instead of coming at them from, Kandahar province, directly, or Helmand province, where they expect you to come, we went all the way down south into the Reg Desert, which is the Red Desert. Now, when you fly in southern Afghanistan and you're flying, east to west or west to east, there's the Reg Desert that heads all the way down into Pakistan, and it's nothing but desert. And then there's a distinct line that goes into the built-up areas and the green areas and so on and so forth. And it's just so blatant. Nobody goes down there. Only Bedouins go down there. So we did our infiltration in the Panjwai district that way. It took 3 days. We did vehicle recovery operation. I mean, it was ugly, right? But we got there. And completely surprised the Taliban in Panjwai. And it was a huge victory. So we routed them up. And then my guys were up for over 96 hours straight. Me and my command sergeant major went in once we took Panjwai district. And this is where I told you earlier, we got up on top of the hill and saw all the Taliban coming. It was unbelievable. Well, anyways, once we got control of that situation, our guys, those guys hadn't slept for 96 hours, and I called my headquarters and I said, hey, I'm going to stay, Sergeant Major and I are going to stay here overnight, so cancel the CH-47 coming to get us. And so we did that. And I knew if I had told my guys that the Sergeant Major and I were going to pull the entire night shift so they could sleep, I would have got a bunch of pushback, right? No, sir, you're not going to be pulling guard. Yeah. So I just kept my mouth shut. And I said, hey, I'll take first watch. And they go, oh, you don't have to do that. And I go, no, I'll take first watch. Well, these guys went down hard. And the Sergeant Major and I just stayed up all night. Well, about 2 o'clock in the morning, my company commander, Jared Hill, comes out. He goes, sir, what the heck's going on? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I was supposed to have shift. I slept through it. I'm sorry. I go, no. We got this. Go back to bed. We're good. And he didn't argue with me. He went back to bed. Um, none of them had to pull shift. It was just me and the sergeant major, and we did radio watch and did the whole thing, and we called in all the times, right? And that was that. These guys got up. Not only did I have that, but I also had the helicopter come in with hot chow, right? Hot breakfast, right? And so I said, you guys get your hot breakfast, and Sergeant Major and I will hand it back over to you, and, you got it, right? And, it was just amazing what these guys had done. General Fraser in his book writes today about our guys, and he says, they saved the NATO mission, because if we didn't have these special ops guys to do this, we would have been routed by the Taliban, and it would have been a huge political nightmare for NATO. 1st Battalion, 3rd Group, my guys, got awarded for the first time the equivalent of the Canadian Presidential Unit Citation, the only foreign military in the history of the Canadian military to get that award. And they got that award, and it sits in the battalion headquarters at Fort Bragg proudly. And, they sent down their equivalent to their chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to Fort Bragg, and all the guys got it pinned on him. It took him 4 years to get it approved, but he didn't quit, and he finally got it approved. And I was just getting out of the War College at that time. It was 2009 when they did the award, and I was just so proud to see these guys get the award and do their thing. But yeah, it was. I mean, and that's really what kind of got us thinking. And you know who got thinking? General McChrystal. And when he came in 2010 to take over, he was all about bottom up, all about it. And then when General Petraeus came in to take over for him, he loved village stability operations and Afghan local police. And
so when you, before we get into that, so you get done with your battalion commander tour